From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Good afternoon, everyone. Certainly going to see a bit of a break for some of us here in Northern California, especially for many parts of the valley, in particular the south end of the valley, eastward into Lassen County, and even most of Modoc County as well. But we do expect a wet weather pattern to really continue here through Friday. And really the bigger event, the next storm system's coming in tomorrow. Friday, we're not going to see a whole lot of activity. And then by the weekend, for the most part, we will be looking at drier conditions. But the flooding impacts could continue into Friday. So with the next storm system coming in tomorrow, that will certainly have some impacts with flooding. Snow levels still averaging somewhere around 1,000 to 2,000 feet, but mainly dry this weekend into next week. All right, so take a look at your neighborhood forecast at a glance. So you see the showers in the valley. That's mainly to the north, and even then it'll be a passing sprinkle or a light shower. Trinity County, I think you'll be looking at off and on snow flurries, even some snow mix depending on your elevation. The North Coast, scattered showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Siskiyou County, scattered snow flurries, snow levels to 2,500 feet. Northwestern Modoc County, you got chances for snow through the afternoon. But as you head to the south and east, the chances are slimmer. And I think most of the eastern mountains will be fairly dry throughout the day today. So what's going on? What's the overall setup? Well, we've got a couple of things that really two factors that we're looking into. Number one, this is what we've been talking about here, this cold area of low pressure, the speckled clouds indicating that colder air that's been swinging into Northern California. But it's also going to eventually tap into this right here. This is a warmer storm system, so it's got some warmer moisture associated with it. This will get caught up in the flow of that area of low pressure, will ride over that colder air, and will bring us another round of heavy rain for the valley, the lower elevations, and another round of some heavy snow as well. Now, with that all being said, we still have flood warnings. Despite the fact that we're not seeing much in the way of rain, keep in mind there's always that delayed reaction to the rain that we've seen. You've got to get all that runoff. It takes time for that runoff to eventually impact the creeks, streams, and rivers. So let's take you up and down the Sacramento River here. You can see the Red Bluff Diversion Dam still within that moderate phase, but eventually later this afternoon into tomorrow, it's dropping well below even the action stage. Another slight increase with that chance for rain on Thursday. There you can see out towards Tehama Bridge. It's eventually going to be dropping here by tomorrow morning. We'll see another slight increase. We could get close to, if not right around that flooding potential, minor flooding here as we go into Friday morning after Thursday night's storm system. Okay, so again, that's that potential for flooding I was talking about. Not just the rivers, but street flooding, low-lying areas. Again, for tomorrow's storm, right? There you can see it's retreating. It goes back up again here for Vina-Woodson Bridge. We also look at Ord Ferry. We're going to see more of a gradual drop eventually as we go into the weekend here, eventually even dropping below that action stage. There's a look at Hamilton City. There's that big drop. Another increase on Friday, but it should stay well below that minor flood stage. Meanwhile, we also have a flood warning that expires at 1 p.m. on Saturday. That's for Pitt River near Canby. We're still staying in that major flood stage. And then after, say, Thursday afternoon into Thursday night, it will start to slowly drop as we approach the weekend. So that will certainly be a welcomed sight. We still have an aerial flood warning for northwestern Lassen County until noon on Thursday. A lot of the low-lying areas looking at the potential for more flooding here. There you can see the Eel River at Fernbridge below the flood stage and continuing to drop. So some of you that live in the area may see that swelled up, but for the most part, we're looking at below that flood stage. Let's take you through the noon hour. Of course, that's what we're looking at right now. Some of the showers off to the west, snow flurries in the north and west of the valley. Now, again, you can see some of the showers that are trying to develop here for parts of the valley here. So Redding down to even Corning, there is that potential for a stray sprinkle or a light shower. And the closer you get to Redding, the better the chances. But I think there's a very good chance Willows, Chico, Oroville, you could be dry through the day today, just some clouds coming in. I think we'll be dry for Lassen and Plumas counties. And north, southeastern Modoc County looking dry. But I do expect to see scattered snow showers for Siskiyou County down to about 2,000 feet, 1,000 to 2,000 feet for Trinity County throughout the day. Scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms here for parts of the coast. Even some of the inland areas could see a bit of a mix. Places like Hoopa, Willow Creek, for example, could see that here throughout the day today. We go into tonight, we're starting to see that activity kind of break apart. But remember that moisture I was talking about that's down to over the Pacific, that's eventually showing signs by tomorrow morning moving on in. Now again, the colder air is still in place, so we're still looking at low snow levels. That rain will begin to pick up in intensity through the morning. We're expecting that widespread, steady rain in the valley by mid to late morning hours on Thursday. We're seeing snow in the mountains. Now, initially, I think some of this warmer subtropical moisture that's moving in may mix out some of that colder air. So places like Hayfork and Weaverville may have a hard time seeing just snow, maybe a bit of a mix at that point. However, that colder air is going to settle back in. And a lot of times what happens, as you can see the darker shades of blue indicating that heavier snow. Now a lot of times what happens is you get that snow, it's coming down so fast that it brings the colder air along with it, and then we tend to lower those snow levels as a result. So Hayfork, Weaverville, I think there's that potential to see some snow heavy at times, especially late in the day Thursday into Thursday night. Heavy rainfall along the coast. This is Thursday at 5 p.m. Heavy rain and steady rain for the valley. So once again, we're looking at the potential for some flooding in there as well. Now, of course, notice we're still seeing snow heavy at times around Bernie, and of course, lighter snow off to the north and east. Let's take you into Thursday night, 10 p.m. We are getting that rain-snow mix very close to the valley. This is why it's not entirely out of the question that sometime Thursday night, Friday morning, we may see some of that transition over into at least a mix for places like the Redding area, North Redding, city of Shasta Lake, and of course, as you start heading towards Lakehead, a better chance there as well. But a lot of it will depend on what those winds. When we see those south winds, that doesn't really support snow in the valley. It's that north wind that we typically have to see. So something worth watching. At this point, I wouldn't count on much, if any, snow for the valley. It should mainly be in the form of rain, but we're going to keep a close eye on that here as we go into the next few days. Now, let's take you into your Friday morning. You see how we're still seeing some of those snow flurries out there for some of the higher elevations, but it's beginning to taper off, and will taper off significantly by Friday afternoon. And we're looking at mainly dry conditions here. So really, all in all, I've got the chance for showers in the valley here, off and on, very light, but most likely it will be dry through a good portion of the day with those snow flurries for the first half of the day on Friday in the mountains, otherwise dry for the second half of the day. All right, that was a long look at Futurecast, but certainly some good detail to help you out here if you have any plans. Now, we look at the rainfall totals through Friday afternoon, and you can see upwards of about 3/4 of an inch to an inch possibly in the valley. And you can see it looks like about the same here for parts of the north coast. Otherwise, we're not expecting much in the way of that water equivalency up to the north or east. This is the colder air. This is the warm, moist air that's getting caught up in that flow. Look what happens. You see how that Sierra is really beginning to fire up here with that snow. Also to the west of that as well in the northern areas. So you got that typical horseshoe where you do have that rain in the valley, right? But of course, you don't have to go up too much higher in elevation, and you start seeing some of that snow as that colder air filters in. Now, that trough of low pressure, that low pressure system, what we call open up. It won't be quite as strong as it moves through us, but it will bring us a chance for some of those snow flurries, as I mentioned, as we'll see some leftover moisture, some instability, could see some snow flurries out there. But again, we're losing a lot of that moisture source. That's moving on out. Now, this is Saturday morning. You see this little bit of a disturbance kind of getting caught up in that flow. It may bring a shower or two for places like the North Coast, even maybe a snow flurry out towards Siskiyou County, and Trinity County may see some of that as well. Otherwise, it will be dry on Saturday. It will be dry on Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday. There's Tuesday of next week. You see how it's dry? But by Tuesday night into Wednesday, we may see some more rain. I mean, we may see some as early as Tuesday. Right now, the models are kind of kind of edging more towards the Wednesday time frame, but certainly something worth watching as we do get a well-deserved break for the most of us through the weekend, and especially Monday. Then sometime around Tuesday, Wednesday, we see that potential. We do have a winter storm watch for Lassen and eastern Plumas counties. We've got a winter storm warning for western Siskiyou County and Del Norte County, and a winter weather advisory for Humboldt and Trinity County. These are some of the numbers that I've tweaked on my own. We're taking a look at some of the numbers here. Here's what I'm expecting at this point in time. Through Friday, 5 p.m., here's what we're looking at. And the bulk of this is going to fall Thursday evening, Thursday night, early Friday morning, and then it does look like we are going to be looking at, of course, that my lights are about to turn off here. Got to turn those back on. There, of course, you can see, of course, some of that snow. So again, as I mentioned, I got a little distracted there by the lights. Thursday evening, Thursday night, early Friday morning. That's the heaviest snow that I do anticipate to see. This is when we'll see some of the biggest headaches when it comes to travel as well. But even through the day on Thursday, it will certainly be an issue. But there you can see, again, these are numbers that I have generated based on looking at several different forecast models, and that's the best projection I can come up with at this point. Keep in mind, it has everything to do with snow levels, how low those snow levels get, and of course, where will that heaviest precipitation be? It does look like it's generally right here. And of course, we see some of that here on especially the west slope as we head into the foothills. But again, some decent snow certainly heading our way. You're going to want to stay home and not travel in the mountains here as we do go through the day on Thursday and Thursday night. We're also expecting a good amount of snow coming into the Mount Shasta Ski Park. I'm expecting over 2 feet of snow, very good possibility here over the next few days. Winds gusty at times this afternoon, but the wind should start to slowly subside, and by tomorrow morning, the winds should be calmer out there. There you can see by Thursday afternoon, once the storm system kind of pushes through, there may be some gusty periods as it pushes on through, but I do expect calmer winds for your Friday afternoon. All right, here's a look at your forecast for today. Temperatures are going to be in the low 50s. Now, again, Redding, Cottonwood, Red Bluff, maybe even Corning could see a stray sprinkle, maybe a light shower. South of that, Glenn and Butte counties, I think you'll be dry all day long today. I think you'll be dry in Plumas County, Lassen County, and southeastern Modoc County. Everywhere else, seeing a chance for rain or snow depending on your elevation. Showers, thunderstorms along the coast, snow around 1,500 feet, give or take, depending on where you are. So yeah, I mean, it's looking like fairly active for some of us, but a bit of a break from all of this wet weather here as we go through the afternoon today. There's your 7-day outlook for the valley. Once again, slight chance for showers Redding and Red Bluff, otherwise fairly dry, mainly dry really. And then Chico, I think you'll be dry all day long. Heavier rainfall on Thursday, especially for the second half of the day. I've got the chance for showers in there, but quite honestly, I may be even taking out the raindrops because most of any activity we see on Friday looks to be in the higher elevations in the form of snow flurries. Dry for the valley through the weekend, even dry going into Monday and Tuesday of next week. For the coast, inland, and for Trinity County, here you can see those snow levels for Trinity County around 1,500 feet, give or take, through Friday. And I've still got that chance for some activity here for Saturday. Keep in mind, it'll be very light. It won't be anything significant. Mainly dry through the weekend, and of course, Monday and Tuesday of next week. And for Siskiyou, Modoc, and the Eastern Mountains, once again, we can see those snow levels will be fairly low. I'm still keeping that chance for a light snow flurry or two on Saturday, but otherwise dry through the weekend, and I do expect dry conditions entirely for places like El Turris and Susanville as we go into the weekend and even into early next week. Next chance for rain after that will probably be sometime around the middle of next week. That is your afternoon update. I'll be back again this evening at 6. Have yourselves a great afternoon.